This is an NBC News Special Report. Here's Savannah Guthrie.
Good morning, and we have breaking news this morning from Afghanistan. A deadly attack on a military base west of Kabul by a gunman wearing an Afghan military uniform. Among the victims, a two-star U.S. Army Major General. As many as 15 other American soldiers have been wounded, and we want to get right to NBC's Jim Miklaszewski, who is at the Pentagon with the latest. Mick, good morning to you. What can you tell us?
Savannah, U.S. DOD and military officials do confirm that a two-star U.S. military Major General was killed in that assault today in Kabul. Now, according to the officials, they are not going to release the identity of that Major General until sometime tomorrow officially. Now, in addition, there were two others killed, but they're believed to be perhaps Afghan or even German officers that were there. The shooting occurred at the Afghan National Military Defense Academy, a training facility where the Americans, other ISAF forces, and Afghan leadership had gathered to talk about the training regimen for the Afghan military, when suddenly one individual, believed to be an Afghan soldier, sprayed the crowd with an automatic weapon, killing the two-star general and wounding at least 15 other Americans. U.S. officials caution that the overall death toll could rise because of the severity of those injuries. By the way, in return fire, that gunman was also killed. No motive for that attack, but those kind of green and blue incidents where Afghans attack their U.S. military trainers had really subsided in the past several years. But according to U.S. military officials, you can never protect those troops when they're side by side with armed Afghan military 100% of the time. And according to one senior DOD official, in remarks about this incident, told us this, Savannah, is a bad one.
Jim Miklaszewski, standby at the Pentagon. I want to turn to retired Colonel Jack Jacobs. He's an NBC military analyst. He's on the phone with us this morning. Colonel Jacobs, to pick up on what Mick is talking about, there was a time in 2012 when these so-called insider attacks, where Afghan soldiers would turn on the very coalition forces who were trying to train them, were quite common. They had become more rare. This is incredibly disturbing, especially when the whole withdrawal of our troops from Afghanistan is predicated on training up these Afghan forces.
Yeah, you know, I spent a lot of time in Vietnam as an advisor, and there were incidents from time to time with disgruntled Vietnamese soldiers turning on their own troops or on advisors. It happened very, very rarely, but almost never was it a function of the soldiers being a Viet Cong plant, and that's probably the same here. Frequently, these things happen as a result of troops being annoyed at their assignments, or not getting paid, or just some personal animosity, and rarely as a function of there being a plant from the other side. But it's very disturbing in any case, and particularly so since we've spent a great deal of time and money trying to train the Afghan troops to take over the defense of their country by themselves.
Well, Colonel Jack Jacobs, always good to get your perspective. A sad story we're hearing this morning about a terrible attack at a military academy in Afghanistan. A high-ranking Army Major General among the dead this morning. More on MSNBC.com and Nightly News with Brian Williams. Some return to Today's Show, others continue with their programming.
Only time I have not worn them, yes, is when I go to the gym in the morning and I look in the bag and I say,